first he just said, hey, thanks for coming to so many shows and I love seeing you out there. And he said, but I've never had a fan club and I'm wondering if you girls would like to start one. And that, I'm pretty sure, was met with silence initially from Kate and myself, because we're thinking, what did he just say? And, he kind of talked about why it's interesting. I mean, he definitely talked about, he said things along the lines of, I'm, getting a little older and just, thinking about how he wanted to be like remembered and fans and things like that. And basically said that he liked in not so many words, liked our spirit and energy and really felt like we got what he does, or some certain part of it that was important to him. And that he would like us to kind of spread our understanding of his music to other people. And he even said at one point to be my voice.
Well, that's a big job.
Yeah. And I don't know that, that's something that I would ever, Bob is his own voice, but, so we were pretty freaked out by that and confused more than anything, I think, in the initial, I don't know, were we pale when we came out? I mean, I think we were pretty sunburned from all those days sitting in line, but I was like shaky.
I don't remember if you were pale or not, but I remember, did you tell us about it that day or did I hear about it later?
I don't think so. I think that the only person we sort of whispered it to was Joanna, who was right next to us and our traveling companion. And, I remember being really elated at having had the opportunity to meet Bob and that he had said so many nice things to us. And also being really confused that he had asked us to do this and sort of wondering, what he meant by it exactly. And so Joanna, I think, was like, did you meet Bob? And we were like, he asked us to start his fan club. And she's like, oh, cool.
Well, reading your accounts that are on the website, I think the thing that's interesting about it is to, hear, from his mouth, hear him kind of express that he really is interested in his own legacy, which is the kind of thing that he plays off that he isn't sometimes. And also that he's interested in correcting all the misperceptions that are out there about him, and that he really wants people to have a better understanding of what he does.
Yeah. Yeah. And, looking back, I mean, so it took us quite a while to, it took us a while to come public to many people at all about the fact that we had met him and that he had even asked us that, because I think, going to as many shows as we had gotten certain, privileges with Bob's security, whoever it happened to be at the time, and they would let us in early and they would tell us things about Bob, but it was always sort of with the understanding of like, this is a privilege to like know these things and to get to like hear these things, and you don't talk about them. And so here was like the opposite. Bob is saying, go talk about like me and this thing I want you to do. But it was really hard. We sort of felt like we had to like not tell anyone that Bob had asked us to start a fan club, which is, I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it's like it was a weird headspace to be in.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to feel like you're like bragging or like name dropping, like, oh yeah, well, Bob told us he wants us to do this. Like,
right. And plus there are like all these other like online forums. There's like the Deadpool, there's Expecting Rain, or the Dylan Pool. I was a big Deadhead too. There's the Dylan Pool, Expecting Rain, like all these like well-established, older people run things that like, you don't want to just, I don't know, it felt weird in a lot of ways. But, I think, so it took us about a year of kind of talking between ourselves, but then we did gradually start to like reach out to our hardcore Bob fans that we had. I don't know if did we ever like tell you about it before it became publicly announced? Like, I know we reached out. Maybe I didn't have your phone number or email because it was
No,
hard.
I think you did reach out and ask us to like write some
Yeah.
short, what Bob means to us kind of
Cool.
things.
Yeah. And like, what would you like to see that you think is like not necessarily present in the Bob Dylan, online world now? And so we kind of gathered that info and then like launched the thing the next summer, which was 2006. Still not, but so the things that have always sort of been our driving forces have been the things that in talking to Bob, we felt like he appreciated about our appreciation of him. So we definitely have always focused on like the live music component. We've tended to focus, especially early on, things kind of get away from you in social media and take on their own life of their own with 45,000 participants, but we still try to steer it, focus a lot on the now Bob, the modern Bob. And then I think the biggest thing, is that like after I kind of turned over the things that he had said and why he asked us and why he would say, I've never had a fan club, because he's not stupid. He realizes that there's all these different, probably like 50 fan clubs, things that call themselves a fan club in various parts of the world and different critiques and so many books about him and things like that. But I do feel like he saw in us something that maybe he felt was lacking in his representation, which was really a fan club, like admiration and
for who he is now too. I think if you look at all the online forums, there's so much focus on who he was in the 1960s and what he meant to a generation in history back somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think for him, if he's on a stage in 2005 and he sees people that are enthusiastic about what he views as his calling, which is being a live performer and bringing joy and live music to people that are in the same place as him, he could see that these were people that were really getting the now Bob. And I think that's something I focus on too, on this show and when I write stuff online and when and what I appreciate about your guys' group, which is that Bob Dylan, his legacy is not just of the 60s. His legacy is about what he's done since he was 21 years old all the way up to now, and all the changes he's gone through and all the music he's brought us all through the years, live and in studio.
So that's the basic story of it, and it's been just a blessing to be asked to do something for the person I love the most in the world. I mean, other than my mom and dad,